My father, Ladis Kristof, was an extraordinary man, not only in the enormous hardships that he surmounted, but maybe more importantly in the incredible ways in which he gave back throughout his life. My dad, in a sense, had both lost the lottery of life and had also won it. He had won it as an aristocrat, as a nobleman in Eastern Europe. Then he lost it when everything he had was taken away, and he had to start over as a refugee in America.
Kris's family moved from Bukovina, where their estate had been, to southern Romania, but he saw that there wasn't much of a future for him.
Some members of the family were executed by the Nazis, others were sent by the Soviets to Siberia, or were executed by the communists.
He was a very opinionated person, and an opinionated person doesn't thrive in an autocratic regime.
And he decided to head west. So in the middle of the night, he swam the Danube River to go to Yugoslavia, and he was arrested on the other side.
So they sent him to an asbestos mine and to a lumber camp.
Many others around him were executed. He was not, and he attributed that in part to the fact that the French government knew about his case and raised questions about it. That he was no longer one more anonymous person in that camp, but he had a name, and that helped save his life. It's remarkable how that experience flows directly into his work with Amnesty International, trying to create the same awareness of other people in prisons halfway around the world. And in 1951, he came to the United States, and he arrived at a logging camp in the Oregon Coastal Range and worked there for a year. Then went on to university to Reed College, and the whole world of political science was opened up to him. And he ultimately then went from Reed to University of Chicago, and there he met a young art history student named Jane McWilliams, who was my mom.
I was living on the women's side, he was living on the men's side, but there was a cafeteria, and we met at one of the tables there. It was really through meeting Kris and talking to him that really made human rights real and personal to me. We got more and more chummy. And then eventually got married at the end of 1956.
We lived in a farm in the middle of nowhere. We had sheep and cattle. In some ways, it was very much a farm life, except that this farm had 30,000 books in 8 languages. In his 80s, my father could chop wood much more effectively than I could. What I truly loved the most about him was just that warmth of spirit that had him bringing back hitchhikers, or when I was a very little kid, marching in front of Woolworths because they weren't serving blacks in the South. It was exhilarating to grow up in this atmosphere, and it certainly helped shape me. Is one reason why my columns so often discuss human rights issues.
And he loved teaching. He realized how important it was to get the younger generation involved in human rights efforts and understanding the world.
And I think that led him to the work with Amnesty International.
Joan Baez came to visit Portland and gave a concert. She urged that an Amnesty Group be started in Portland. We thought it was just a wonderful idea.
In Shitow's case, even he didn't get the mail. What we know is that his prison condition has improved.
Amnesty became our closest circle of friends, the people that we really felt most in common with, almost like a second family, and they still are. Kris and I were going once a month for 30-some years. Every time we got a prisoner free, we'd open a bottle of champagne. We had 2 prisoners free in 1 week, and boy, that was really a cause for celebration. Our group has, well, we congratulate ourselves on, it must be now about 30 released prisoners. And for them, you know, it was the difference between, in some cases, life and death.
My dad was 91, and he died in the house. Surrounded by the woods he loved, by the books he loved, by the family he loved.
War, want, and concentration camps, exile from home and homeland. These have made me hate strife among men, but they have not made me lose faith in the future of mankind. In short, I remain a rationalist and an optimist at a time when the prophets of doom have the floor. My query is, if man has been able to create the arts, the sciences, and the material civilization we know in America, why should he be judged powerless to create justice, fraternity, and peace?
Pretty awesome philosophy of life.
Yeah, it's really good.
The first group meeting after Kris's death, people were saying the best memorial for Kris would be something that would encourage young people who are already committed and involved in Amnesty International. And so we founded the Ladis Kristof Memorial Fellowship.
The winner of the Ladis Kristof Memorial Fellowship will then have the chance to work for 8 weeks with a senior Amnesty International human rights activist. And what excites us about it is this is a chance to do what my dad devoted his life to, which is reaching out to young people and giving them the tools so that they will be more effective in making this a better world. And at the end of the day, Amnesty International's success is going to depend on its ability to find a next generation to carry on the mission. And that is what the Ladis Kristof Memorial Fellowship is all about. This is going to be a life-changing opportunity for some young men or young women, but more importantly, because of the tools that they get, it's going to be life-changing for those who they're working on behalf of, not only now, but for years and years to come.
When I say human rights, y'all say now. Human rights! Human rights!
Shine a light. Help us inspire a new generation of human rights activists.